And we're live.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 4K. Also, big up our partners, Talksport. Go check them out. Probably, definitely the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their social some love. Also go check out Fanatics as well, official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Make sure you use our affiliated link in the description below. Where do I start? A more mature outing. I thought that would be a better title, for this post match, because in the first couple of games, I thought we were a lot more pedestrian than we looked tonight. There could be, plenty of room for improvement for sure, especially in the way we control games, in the way we defend as a unit. Certain players are really just, letting the game, bypass them way too easily for my liking. But I think this is clearly a work in progress, and we knew this from, the Club World Cup itself. And this is, one more, iteration before us. And I think there is, a lot many positives to take from today, but also, a slight few reminders that we have to give this team a lot of time. Big up Sahil and Kanishk, man. I'll come to you, Kanishk, first. Big up people in the chat as well. Obviously, Ashik is already popping off, but talk to me, Kanishk. Is this a more mature outing, or am I getting carried away?
Definitely not. I think all fans must be much happier seeing the overall improvement of the squad. I think I called it in the match preview with Farouk. I think Xabi is really trusting on some of his newer players, be it Carreras, be it Mastantuono. I was definitely thinking he's going to start Rodrigo maybe because he had a much better outing in the second game. But he's showing that trust on Mastantuono, and he's not disappointing. I think he was pretty good down the right flank, created chances. I think the commentators were saying it's just his 50-50 decision making that needs a bit more improvement. But hey, he's like just 18. He was really a delight to see on the ball. Vinny seems a much improved player. Carreras, man of the match for me from both ends. That one clearance which he had in the second half was really amazing to see. So I think overall, definitely a much more active performance, I would say, because I called it to be very lethargic, if you remember, after the first match. This is definitely a much more active performance. Guler was absolute fire today. It looked like a team which has come out to play, and just closing off the first leg of the first month of the season on a high, 3 wins, 3 games, 3 wins before we go on the international break. I think lot more positives than negatives definitely to take out from this match. So no scenario, bang on point.
Sahil, Kanish was mentioning that Gule was on fire. As much as the fan in me would like to kind of agree with it, he's the official man of the match for tonight. But there is still a lot of areas of Gule's overall ability in midfield that needs work.
That is true, but Guler is someone who's always going to be very much a work in progress, and for the duration where he's still young and he's still improving, we have the opportunity to watch him try different things, basically. I don't think we're going to be watching nearly as exciting player when he's fully polished and, when he's at the peak of his power. Sure, he'll be more efficient and his output will be greater in the final third. And obviously he was unlucky to have his goal ruled out and all of that as well. But the amount of fun we watch him have while out there on the pitch, because inherently of the the trust that his manager is now placing in him with the kinds of players like Mastantuono like around him, right? You wouldn't think that Mastantuono is. You did think that he's too like Goulet to be on the same pitch as him. But clearly, Xabi thinks otherwise, and clearly it seems to be working because they seem to have, a good understanding of each other's game already. And today was a big improvement on that right hand side. We are much better, chance creation. Trent as well, impressing early in that game. Unfortunate to have that Mbappe goal ruled out, but it was an incredible pass from Trent. But I'm sure we'll touch on that.
Yeah, Gola for me, I agree with a lot of what you said, Sahil, but Gola for me, we know the quality that he possesses, and the extent to which if we can really hone a proper midfield out of him, the extent to which he can control games. We all know that. We all knew this even under Carlo, when he had a few cameos here and there, but overall for me, when in possession, when in transition, Angola seems to be lacking the killer instinct or just the quickness of the mind to release the ball early. I mean, he did for the Mbappe offside goal, who was basically on a platter. Mbappe, truth to be told, he is again being hunted by his offside demons. If Mbappe had been a bit more wily about it, he would have delayed his run a bit more, and it would have been a very straightforward finish. But Gola for me in transition and in possession needs plenty of work, especially deep, because he tends to ball hog a bit, and that happens to the best of them. Brahim used to do it. Isco used to do it. We have seen a lot of very creative players tend to think to themselves. Yeah.
Do you know what the thing I like is about this is more a compliment to Xabi than anyone really, because he's not playing like he's not taking half chances. He's not taking he's not being half-assed about the way he's using these players, especially Gullit, especially even the way he's using Rodrigo. I know he hasn't had much game time, including the games in the Club World Cup, but from what we've watched of him so far, we have the clarity that if he's going to be in this team, he's going to be as a left winger, Rodrigo. And if Gullit is going to be in this team, he's going to be there as a free roaming 10. Or he's just not going to be there at all. He's not going to have to adjust into a right wing role, which isn't made for him, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have to watch him struggle for 80 minutes against Osasuna.
It also remains to be seen when Jude Bellingham is back. To what extent will Gola be involved?
Right, that's a different problem in itself. I mean, I for one would be happy to see him as a right interior midfield player, but the balance of the midfield will then again be tampered with. But for now, I'm very excited to see him as a 10.
Yeah. I do agree. He's bringing that, he's bringing that flair in attack. You can see that every time he's going down the pitch, down to the final third with the ball, he's trying to do something. And that's honestly very refreshing to see from Real Madrid. Because, and I think it's just Vinny on the left wing, who actually tries to do something different. I think a lot of fans have been asking for that, have been longing for that, element of surprise. What trickery are you going to do with the ball? What flair are you bringing to the table? I think Sahil raised a very fair point that, I personally also don't see him on the right wing. I do see him as a free roam player on free roam. But I think once Bellingham is back after the international break, it's going to be interesting to see how Xavi then kind of lines
Bellingham
up.
Bellingham is back only in October, but
he's only back in October. So maybe then it'll be interesting to see what Xavi does. And if Goulet performs, which he has been doing, he got a goal today. He got one disallowed. It could have been easily, the scoreline could have been 3-1, 4-1, if a few things, decisions here and then could have got in our favor. So I think Xavi will have a very good problem to think about a month and a half down the line.
100%. To add to your guys' point, Gola, especially like you guys said, in the final third, there is an element of what can Gula pull out of the bag? Every time he takes a touch in the final third. It's exciting for sure. But when his position is as a midfielder, that's when the equation kind of gets a bit more complicated, and his responsibilities. You could see guys like Fede Valverde getting visibly frustrated with Gola's closing down of his attacker, his basic positioning in transition defensively. I mean, that's something that I mentioned even before the season began, because a lot of people were really getting excited by the prospect that Gula could be a real asset for us permanently in midfield. But I knew this is going to be the case with a player who isn't really accustomed to being on the back foot. But yeah, again, if you remember that moment where he had a snapshot at the keeper near post, he made all the space, all the angle for himself. Basically, just turning on the afterburners to close his marker and drill one low near post. It caught Le Roman off guard a bit. So yeah, we can see clear signs. He's a threat, even from long range. His finesses to do back a punch. So maybe we have to go on.
At the end of the day, we just have to put him in the position which hides his flaws to the best extent. And I mean, he's not going to get too many headed goals. He's not going to score too many tap-ins the way he did today. His best goals are always going to come in a different fashion. But even outside of those two moments, I think he had an incredible night.
The presence of mind to actually position himself, I think it's pretty evident that it is a staple set piece routine so far in Alonso's reign, because I've seen this a couple of times already throughout the season, and they're using Howson's aerial prowess to good use. We have seen it in the opening game as well against Osasuna, which didn't really come off. But tonight it was pitch perfect. All three of the new signings getting involved together. 4 signings, I should say, right? Like Trent to Mastantuono to Carreras with one in, and then Howson squares it back across goal and tap in. The funny thing is, for me, like I wondered, when that goal actually went in, Howson was really used very cleverly. But then, whether it be zonal marking, whether it be a lot of our defenders falling asleep collectively altogether, Murici basically had all the time in the world. Chouameni bumping into a couple of the Osasuna boys. I mean, Maiko boys, and completely losing the plot. I
called this in the match preview as well. I remember this with Farouk, that if they are going to score, it's going to be from Vedat Murici. It's going to be a good cross in the box. Madrid having probably some confusion there on who is marking Murici, because he's been their target man. I mean, you don't need a UEFA license to figure that out. So that was the only threat, I think, from Mallorca, and they capitalized on it, and this was bound to happen at some point.
Mallorca had a lot more threat than just a hopeful ball into Murici's head.
They did, but we've seen lately.
We are lucky to actually get away with a win tonight. I'll be honest, because can you really say that we completely negated Mallorca's?
Maybe if not completely negated, I don't feel we just scraped through it. I mean, as I said,
every side's going to have their moments, man.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
A couple of goals. No, it's fine. I think we're just mirroring what I'm saying. I think the scoreline could have very easily been 3-1, 4-1 in our favor. One or two.
It could have also been a 2-2 draw easily for me. In my opinion.
Could have, but
would have. Come on,
I think we should give a bit more credit to the team. I think I think you will
I'm just very concerned.
Teams about improved definitely.
It has. Like maybe I'm being a bit too harsh, but then again, I'm very concerned about the tests that lay in wake, especially in the Champions League. But even the supposedly easiest fixture is away in Kazakhstan. That's a whole day's travel in itself, and it's gonna absolutely wreck our team. And and our energy levels. And the way we look, the way we start games, we start like a house on fire, which, most Carlo teams were blamed for not doing so. But then again, as the game goes on by, we tend to lack focus. We tend to lack the energy. I'm not sure, like guys like Fede aren't even doing much of the running. Yeah, he's making a lot of off the ball movements to basically help us, find little pockets in the half spaces, in deep in opposition territory. But in transition, we still look like we are absolutely clueless. Our centre backs both. I mean, Hausen did show signs of, having a couple of weaknesses in the Club World Cup, whereby he's too lackadaisical, or maybe too passive. If a man is beaten him, and that is a glaring flaw. Like I thought maybe that was one occurrence, in the Club World Cup against who was it, Dortmund, but now I've seen it 3 or 4 more times where he just opts to let the man run away instead of actually actively maybe trying to put in an attack law, at least put the attacker off his stride. He needs to work on it. With even Militao not being exactly reliable in defense, Rudiger completely looking like he has fallen off. We need to really tighten it up.
Don't you think, Sahil Sunair, just food for thought? We are facing easier challenges on our road to facing tougher teams like Liverpool, City, and long travels to Almaty, Kazakhstan, and all that. I feel the fact that we are, and with all due respect, Mallorca is no Man City, but Mallorca is also not an easy game. Neither was Oviedo, and no game is easy for Madrid. Let's just put it that way. So I feel the fact that we are facing easier challenges on our path to, or like on the build up to games which are much tougher challenges, I think we can see the few gaping also. That kind of gives Xavi the advantage that, he'll probably know that this is a broken process in the team in match. As you very rightly pointed out, we never start off games as well anymore. So I think definitely this is something that maybe the coaching and the management is.
No, actually, man, we start games well. We start games well, then we fall off. That's what I meant.
Okay. So, sorry, I misheard you maybe. So I think the fact that whatever it may be, I think Xavi and the management is, I think, paying keen attention to it. That maybe, okay, this has been a pattern last 5-6 games against a bigger team like, say, Liverpool, Man City, Barcelona, Atletico. This is what we don't need to do. So I think I'm seeing the reverse side of things, that, okay, maybe this is telling the management where we are going wrong. Rather than like facing a tough team and then committing the mistake, we are committing the mistake beforehand and being better prepared for it the next time.
You think our approach changes with when it comes to a bigger game, a bigger opponent, a greater occasion?
I'm telling you, all these people bringing up statistics, analytics, and the fucking drawing board of us playing entirely in the opposition half. When it comes to big teams, we are gonna sit back. We're gonna counter. That's what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm. I'm also intrigued to see, but to an extent, I'm like, will he change what he really believes in?
We don't really have the players willing to do the work. I'm telling you, we don't really have the players or the mentality, to do the work
against
see, high pressing.
Even Vinny pressing today. Sunil.
We have seen Vinny pressing all the time. He actually won the ball for the Mbappe offside goal. I mean,
that's what I was going to mention here.
He did that against Oviedo last week as well. I mean, we have seen it in flashes, but I'm telling you, on a consistent basis to beat top sides, we need all our players to work in tandem, all our players to be really, really on it. These guys go through phases where they're strolling, where they're, struggling to focus. And I'm pretty sure Xavi isn't as naive as some of the fans are.
Isn't that what hurt us last season, though?
I know it's what hurt us, but then again, we look like a completely, hapless, team going forward. This time,
have to put it
seems like we have a
very layman terms. So I have to put it in very layman terms. It's like when you buy a new car, which is absolutely showroom new car, you drive it for the first month to see what mileage it is giving. So I think this team also under Xabi Alonso is like a new car, an absolutely new car, which does not know what mileage it is giving. Only when you drive it for a few hundred or maybe like the first 1,000 kilometers or miles for our American audience, that is where you realize what is your car's best fuel efficiency. So I think Xabi is trying things out, and I think in the next month and a half, it's definitely gonna look like a more balanced side. So I think we have to be a bit more patient with Xabi and
I
his
get the
tactics. I think
balance.
so far
No, we are patient. We are patient.
It's more about little technical things. Is our backline still going to be this high? Is our pressing still going to be as motivated as it seems in these opening games?
It's still not motivated, Sahil. I don't know what you mean by motivated. In its
to an extent, it was today.
Yeah.
Comparatively, but like, is this the way top sides press? I don't think so, Sahil. I don't think so.
I agree with Suned on this.
Yeah,
I agree
top
with you on
sides,
this,
they don't take the foot of the gas. When they see a turnover from the opposition or a chance for a turnover, they smell blood and they go for the kill. We take a bit of time, man. I'm telling you, it's because of the characters we have. It's because of the personalities we have in the dressing room. I'm not telling this as a detriment. This has been always the case with all top Madrid teams. We don't really function like a like a team that the romantics outside of Spain really a lot about with their pressing scheme, their pressing triggers. We are a lot more conservative side at its core. So like that's the only thing I'm saying. When people really rave about Madrid going in a different direction, I don't think it's a different direction. It is a direction that basically is working on its fundamentals a lot more compared to Carlos' iteration of Madrid. The formation might have changed. The setup might have been a bit different. I think that there is a couple more frameworks to this Xabi Alonso system compared to Carlo, who was a lot more rigid. This has an A side and a B side, maybe if I may call it so. Yeah. But essentially, it's going to be basically the same. What Xabi Alonso has to do, in my opinion, is find out a better way to make the attack function. We see it in flashes. We see it against top sides. We see it against mid-table sides. We see it against relegation sides. But the consistency, that's what we need. Mbappe scored a brilliant goal off the center last week, but then tonight, the couple of chances he got, his man is way off. Put that into the pressure cauldron of a Champions League knockout game. Those kind of chances don't come by too often. We can't let Mbappe be running offside two times back to back, 2 years back to back. I mean, I'm not going to call him out for this, but I'm just letting you know these little things. It makes me a bit more level-headed and not get carried away. Maybe I'm just planning it for myself. Making sure that I don't get too excited.
Yeah. But I honestly feel if suppose the results, all three results, probably one or two are not in our favor. Suppose we drew against Mallorca today, had a 1-0 win over Oviedo, and maybe just maybe lose against Osasuna, something. If the results didn't go our way, we'll be having a completely different conversation right now. So I think
for sure.
So I think we need to be happy with whatever not happy. We at least need to be content that new system and the new change is not has not absolutely flipped us to the other side. We are winning matches. We are a work in progress, and I think the team just needs a bit more oiling, and the machine will start churning and start performing eventually, sooner rather than later. Because from the signs that we've seen.
Yeah, you could agree. Maybe I'm asking for way too many signs, on match day 3. But the performances, I think, are what gives me a lot of confidence, especially from the likes of Carreras, who I wasn't really expecting much from him. Just going off what little I've seen. I've seen very little of Carreras, especially Benfica. I might have caught a couple of games in the Champions League, but apart from that, I didn't know much about Carreras, but I thought him to be a lot more similar to Fran Garcia. So far, he looks a a lot more solid defensively. But I mentioned in the group chat, has he been really tested yet? That's my question also. But he can only play the teams that
No, he's not been tested, but definitely from what we've seen so far, he's been outstanding. Like, you cannot point out any major flaw in his game. So if that is his basis, if that's his foundation, I'm very sure, and I'm very sure that Madrid definitely must have seen that big game feeling factor in him. That when he's facing a Salah or when he's facing a Lamine Yamal, he'll definitely switch up his game. So far, I honestly feel, and I'm praising him a lot. I've praised him in the match preview as well. I genuinely feel he has the potential to be Madrid's signing of the season this year, and I do, and I still stand by that. And match by match, you guys are better football watchers than me. You all will always notice he's improving match by match. Today, you could see him perform at both ends, something you didn't see in the first couple of matches. And in a very short span of time, it takes a lot of time to adjust to Real Madrid, especially when you're that young and you're coming from the Portuguese league. With all due respect to the league, better players than him have come here and miserably failed in front of the Bernabeu, and that's 2 matches in front of the Bernabeu. And the Bernabeu is also showing their love back to him. So I feel it's a lot of positivity right now, at least for him as a player, that his initial test has been absolutely fine. It's just how he improves his game from here on, and maybe tries to get more assists or maybe improve his long shot game. How he can be a more complete left back for the team, something that has lacked with Ferdinand Mendy, to be very honest, and Fran Garcia also, to an extent.
I do agree with Kanishk in his analysis. In that his defensive game will only really be tested when he comes up against attackers of a higher quality, against opposition of high standard. Obviously, there's much more to it than just being good on 1v1, defending. There's defending the back post on crosses. From the other end, there's set pieces, right? There's tracking back against teams who counter fiercely. And that's all going to come to the fore when we face the likes of Liverpool, City, Juventus. But also, to his credit, you cannot take anything away from him on the other side of the pitch. For all I had seen of him, I thought he would be just another Fran Garcia with overlapping runs and maybe a bit of a sprinkle of crosses into the box. But he's actually shown us what he can do driving into the pitch and dribbling at defenders. If you can remember, he actually won a pretty useful free kick from a pretty useful position. So I think if you can do like little things like that early in the game, he was showing up in midfield and just setting the opposition's shape off, right? So if an opposition is looking to mark your fullback, then you just move away. And I don't think Fran Garcia has developed that kind of positional awareness yet on the ball or off it. So little things like that are just incredibly mature, and it's great to see as a viewer. And obviously Trent on the other end is working well as well. I just wish we had more of Gonzalo Garcia on the pitch, so Trent's crossing would actually have someone to meet it in the box. But yeah.
And it's almost as if Carreras is starting the game at a much higher pace than the rest of the players. It does seem like that. He's seeming more faster, much more quicker in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game, which is very fresh to see. Definitely from the left back, which also kind of gives your team that edge to build faster games from the back. And agreeing with Sal's point, I think Trent was much improved today. Much improved today. I think his assist to Mbappe, which was unfortunately an offside, was brilliant. Like, that is something that is classic trademark Trent.
And again, just 3 minutes after that, if you remember, the side netting.
Yeah. The side netting. Absolutely. He's been good. I think, Trent attackingly definitely has improved. So I think if you see the signs, I think each player in their position is improving bit by bit. I think it just has to be a bit faster because the games will come thick and fast, and the big teams, it's not the earlier Champions League anymore. So you're facing Man City and Liverpool very quickly. I think Liverpool is the first big match, if I'm not wrong, if I got the calendar sheet correct. You're playing them in September, 13th or 14th, around that time, if I'm not wrong. Liverpool? Are we playing them first or are we playing
Liverpool,
City
we are playing Liverpool in November,
in
City in
November?
December.
Okay. So, like, we don't have any big match, at least till the El Clasico, with like due respect to the other teams. Like any
We
big
play
marquee match.
Juve. Yeah, yeah. You could say that. You could say that. We
I
play
just
Yeah,
Derby.
wish.
Derby next
enough
one.
time. Yeah.
Mm.
Atletico Madrid, definitely. So I think the players are improving much more improved signs from each player in their position.
Mm.
So overall, very nice to see.
I just wish Vinny would also make those runs that Mbappe is making to aid
Yeah.
Trent's passes.
Mm.
It's a bit disheartening when it's just Mbappe attempting, because uh, you can only get so much out of a player who's being marked by two centre backs, even though he's the best in the world at doing just that, at running past defenders.
Yeah.
But if Win could also do that, that would create greater
Yeah.
avenues for many more opportunities in that
Just to
manner.
make the conversation a bit more lighthearted, do you think Vinny kind of took it a bit personally when he was benched against Oviedo? Because since he's come on as a sub against Oviedo and today in the match, he's been a very different Vinny than what we've seen at least
Yeah,
in the previous 4 to 5 matches. I
I
think
would
he
say
did take that
yeah,
a bit personally, getting
but
benched,
also
which is
that
good to
was
see.
that was intended, right?
Yeah, but still, top players, they never like to be benched. I know for a fact
Mm,
Ronaldo never liked to be benched. And if that's his
yeah,
idol, if he's following his footsteps that way, I think it's very good to see him take that a bit more personally and changing that positively, channeling that energy in his stride and coming out all guns blazing. He was very good today, at least in the first half, I
yeah.
feel. And then he got the goal, which kind of changed things. So it was really nice to see.
Um, going back to Trent quickly, if you guys remember, he is basically being played to do a completely different role compared to when Carvajal is on the pitch, and so the team is kind of built up to be Carvajal's biggest. I mean, teams being built up to capitalize on Carvajal's biggest strengths. Trent, so far, although the team and his teammates kind of know what he's about, I don't think the team and Trent is in sync yet. But once it's kind of there, we could see a lot more of what Trent is going to be about. Even as long range shots, I think it's up there with the likes of Fede. You saw the shot that just went a couple of inches wide. Any better placement, and the goalkeeper is completely beaten. Even at the near post, it was struck that well. So, Trent, to his credit, like what Kanish said, has improved a lot. Coming to Vinny, he should definitely take stuff like this personally, because it's intended to be kick up your behind, to be honest, because Vinny needs it, because he tends to go miss it in far too many games. He did last season. Too many people asking for his head. So now is the time. Now is the time to really step up and fight for your place, because Rodrigo is there. We know he's not Winnie. I've said this to many people. I don't know why I'm Rodrigo's biggest fan, but I clearly know there is a skill gap between Vinny and Rodrigo. Although they can do a lot of the things similarly, Vinny just has that X factor that Rodrigo lacks.
And Rodrigo has that bit of aerial ability, which I feel Vinny lacks.
Not aerial ability, and Rodrigo has a bit more. Rodrigo's a bit more instinctive. Vinicius, I think, basically pre-plans a move and then
Vinicius is a rhythm player.
Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yeah. So
Ashik's been going off in the comments. Sunil, if you want to.
Oh yeah. Quickly. What was he saying? Anything about Vinny? He messaged me. He said, I mean, on the other page, he actually mentioned, we should take off Vinny, or we should sell Vinny, I think, before he scored the goal. So
I don't think there's any player he's not mentioned yet. So,
I think next time we should just call Ashik to the podcast itself.
He's been on here, I think.
He's been here. But okay. Milan was actually, mentioning, Vinny hogging the ball resulted in him creating 2 big chances and scoring the goal against Osasuna. Against Osasuna, he was basically aiming it at Ashik. He complained he played like Grealish. It's like both both sides of the equation can be true, because when he is lacking confidence, he just devotes all the luck in the world, all the faith in the world to the ball at his feet, and just prays to God that the ball does something, because that's how I feel like when he's lacking confidence. When he's on it, he's quick with it. He's a lot more purposeful. That like what he showed tonight. He didn't take too many touches. He did tend to go back into that erratic nature, as the game winded down, and he started becoming a lot more fatigued. But before that, especially the way he started, it was with a lot of intent, and the Vinny that we all raved about a couple of years ago. Neat exchanges, no unnecessary crosses, no unnecessary attempts at shooting at bodies, laying the ball off. That's what I like. You need to mix it up, man. You need to mix it up, because you ask a 10-year-old on the street, kid on the street, he'll tell you, yeah, Vinny likes to dribble. He'll take a couple of men on. If it's telegraphed even before the ball is kicked, man, you gotta mix it up to make sure you keep your defenders honest, you keep them on their toes, and keep them guessing. If Vinny mixes it up, his acceleration from 0 to 100 is crazy. I don't think even Mbappe is that good when it comes to tight space dribbling and really finding a way out. I mean, Mbappe fans can come at me, but Vinicius personally for me is a different menace. Mbappe can still do stuff, but I don't think Vinicius's close control dribbling and his ability to really manipulate the ball is a bit better than Mbappe. So he's going to come in
Agree
clutch.
with you on that. 100% agree with you on that.
And the goal as well. I mean, we have seen it a lot of times. People expect him to go one way, and then he just chops it onto his other foot, and bam. I'm telling you, all these players needs to really trust their left foot or their weaker foot. We need to really trust it, because these players, especially at day and age, even I think this was done even in the 80s. I wasn't there in the 80s, but I for a fact know that opposition teams would study the foot of their opponents, right? People would know that Vinicius would like to be on the right foot. Brahim would like to be on his right foot. These guys need to really, really mix it up and make sure you kind of throw people off guard. Mastantuono, the one time he chopped it back onto his right, he created a chance. So yeah.
Agree with you on that.
Quick thoughts on Mastantuono, Sahil?
Yeah, he's a good presser. So on and off the ball, there's very little that you can really complain about. And I feel like he really understands his position well, because it's going to be obvious that he's going to be asked to cut in, but how much and when? I think he understands those things really well, because there's also Fede trying to push up sort of from that right pivot role, and there's always Arda Güler who's trying to get the ball and cross it in, or carry the ball forward from that right half space sort of position. So I feel like there was a lot of avenues out wide that he could have exploited better, especially with Trent's ball from the outside, and those weren't really ever found. But if he starts to get a good hold of his dribbling game and his crossing, because he is very talented with the ball at his feet. Like, I don't think we need any more of evidence with the Bernabeu chanting his name as he goes off. The manager is only going to have more and more praise for him. And I'm pretty sure if I open Twitter right now, it's just going to be Madridistas praising Mastantuono. So the fact that he's got this 18-year-old who's come to the club and he's ready to go, like, he's not needed time to settle in or be shown into the into the first team over the period of months, like we've seen with several other players, bigger players from bigger clubs, right? He's just been ready to show what he has. So I think that's the biggest thing with Mastantuono. He's not needed adaptation time. So as a result of that, this you can't really call this a honeymoon period, because he's just come off and performed.
He reminds me a lot of Rodrigo's debut as well, because when I first set my eyes on Rodrigo playing for us, I just knew this guy has a very level-headed nature, and his composure spoke well above his age. And Mastantuono is the same. When you compare it to Endrick, who just is a headless chicken when it comes to pressing and making runs, and it's just all over the place. But Mastantuono has a lot of purpose behind his movements, his actions. Yes, you could say he can take a breather, calm it down a bit. But I get it. If I was 18 and playing at the Bernabeu, his official home debut, it's the pressures are going to get to you eventually. But yeah, from the glimpses I see, yeah, he's a phenomenal player and very versatile at that. He can do a lot of different roles to help Xabi out, and yeah, the ceiling is endless for Mastantuono. Kanish, anything to add?
No, I think just if you leave aside the style of play and the stats and the analysis, just the fact that he's 18 and he's not from Europe, he's come from South America.
Yeah.
They play football very differently there. And just the fact that he's got that bravery in him, and he's got that bravery, and at the same time, even when you hear him speak, I saw his presentation when he was presented. He was very mature for his age. I mean, I'm 25. I don't think I'm that mature in life. He's extremely mature for his age. He's, as you pointed out, he's very level-headed, and he's got that very calm and composed approach to the game as well. And one thing which I really like about him in the matches that I've seen so far, he's sure of what he wants to do. It's just that in the final third, a bit of decision making needs to be improved. But I think overall his approach, what you could understand as a football watcher, what that footballer thought would the end goal would be. So seeing that in someone at the age of 18, and something you very rightly pointed out, so he reminds us of Rodrigo when he initially started playing. Because and Vinny was the absolute opposite then, because they both signed in 2018. Vinny was just run, dribble, cross, and inshallah. But like Rodrigo was more level-headed, he cut in, the balance on the ball, and that end goal was there. And Mastantuono has that bias for action, I feel, which is very important. He wants to finish a move, and that's so refreshing to see in an 18-year-old talent who is just not trying to impress the crowd with his tricks and trickery and flicking the ball and just trying to play with some flair. He wants to score a goal. He wants to build something for the team. That's his initial approach to the game, which is fantastic to see. I think if he improves at the rate at which he's improving, I think by the end of the season we'll have a difficult conversation about if he's like going to be 100% starter or not. So he's that good, I feel.
100%. It remains to be seen, because all these not typically what we would want at the wing kind of players has really been difficult to sit through for me over the last 2-3 years. Because Rodrigo, we all know what he can do, but can he do it consistently? We need a winger who can really provide the width. I've said this even in the last post match against Oviedo as well. Mastantuono is phenomenal, but he can't really provide us with the width. And against top sides, it's going to be so easy to read him cut it inside. So I don't think he is a long-term solution at right wing. He can be a stopgap for this season if things really go to plan. But he's someone I think is well versatile enough to actually play a bit more deeper. Probably as an 8. He has played a lot of it as a 10. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't watched him at River Plate, but if I'm not mistaken, he also has a knack for playing a bit more deeper as an 8. So if we can actually make that work, who knows? In the future, it's up to Xabi. But I don't think his long-term future is at right wing, unfortunately. He can do a job, but is he a right winger? I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. A few more of the comments quickly from Ashik. He was saying if I think Franco will start firing once he gets over the language barrier. I think people are going to come at you, Ashik, if you make such statements. But I get the pun. he was mentioning, committing a mistake and learning from it is one thing. Repeating the same mistakes every week means we are shit. We don't play like a team or a single unit. You can have all the tactics in the world, but if a team doesn't play like one, they ain't win it. That's been my concern. Yeah, he was also mentioning, we were lucky. If it wasn't for, he agrees with me actually. If it wasn't for Carreras, it would have been 2-2. Let's not get carried away. Against tougher teams, we'll get smoked. That's my feeling as well. Because I'm telling you, people were blaming me for really expecting too much at the Club World Cup. But if I was a manager, right, and if I was as charismatic as Xabi Alonso, I know it's too difficult to really shake up the culture in the dressing room, as soon as you walk in. But you could see signs. You know what I mean? The signs. That's why do you think Arsenal, and their fans are basically hooked up on this, new gen Met, basically promising them, the success is going to be this year. It's because they saw clear signs of improvement from the onset. For me, it is in patches, and it isn't as evident as and clear as I would have thought it would be. It can happen. This is a big step up for Xabi Alonso. It was expected that he's gonna need at least a season to really leave his imprint on the team. But I'm far from convinced. And people can really sleep on the Club World Cup, claiming it was pre-season. It was a nothing competition. But for me, from what I saw, I wasn't really convinced. But
when it matters, 3 matches, 9 points, 1 goal conceded. I think I'll take that for a new manager.
For sure.
I'll take that for a new manager. Absolutely.
For sure.
And because of the fact that Alonso is not a proven quantity in managerial football. Bayer Leverkusen, great what he did, remarkable. Probably Bayer Leverkusen will never see another season like that. But in the larger scheme of things, he's not a proven quantity in managerial football. So for someone who's still that new, just his second club, if I'm not wrong, I don't think he's had any major managerial prowess.
Youth team at Real Madrid.
Nothing at the absolute pro level, right? It was Leverkusen, and then it's Real Madrid. So someone like that coming in 3 matches, 9 points, 1 goal conceded, I'll take that. I'll take that positive.
But also, just going back to that Arsenal thing, I mean, look, man, it's not like Real Madrid are known for this sort of trust the process thing. But
I don't want this to be a trust the process thing.
Yeah,
I don't
but
want
also
to even wait a year. I don't have the patience. I'm very sorry, to be honest.
Inculcating culture at a club or a certain philosophy is no guarantee of success.
It's no cakewalk either. I know it. We have seen it.
It will put you in a better position to, given you have the right resources, which I think Xabi has. But you can also say that about Arsenal. Like, they're in a much better position to be able to win the Premier League than they were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? They're likely to win it. Are they going to win it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That's
the same thing happened with Arsene Wenger as well. I don't think there's been a more legendary coach. He's definitely in the top 3, top 4 for me of all time. Just if you see that as a coach, he won things initially in the early 2000s and all. But what happened after that? The culture was like at its peak after that. Late 2000s, early 2010s. Where was Arsenal? Like, the culture was there, but where were the results? Where were the trophies? I'm not counting FA Cups here. I'm sorry, with all due respect. Where were the Premier League? So, very rightly pointed out by Sahil, culture is no guarantee of success. It's got to be eventually down to the moments. Yeah. And, like the do or die moments. Are you over the line or are you not over the line? Yeah. Then you can celebrate your culture in the dressing room. But I would definitely want to see results, but still very happy with the improvement.
I mean, the conversation won't go to that point at Real Madrid.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Agree.
But I'm, if I'm very honest, planting the right culture, like we have seen, it is evolving. We see signs from Vinny. We see signs from how our players are a lot more willing to put in the shift. But then again, how consistently can we do it? That is down to the manager. That is down to him basically changing the culture, because changing the culture doesn't mean you completely drastically rip up, the blueprint. You can't really do it, especially at Madrid. Nobody can. One person could. Zidane. I don't think he's gonna, take up the challenge anymore. Because even for him, it was a tall, daunting tasks. But coming to Madrid, you'll have to You'll have to do a lot of things quite differently to other clubs. You'll have to let a lot of the bigger egos do their thing. Without that, I don't think any manager survives. So compromises have to be made, but that doesn't mean people are not held accountable. That's my only thing. He's showing that accountability is one of his pillars. I just hope he leans on it a lot more, and bring on Vinny and Rodrigo fighting it out at the left wing spot. We need it. Who knows? The season is a long one. But Ashik was mentioning Carrera's overlapping runs are useless if the forward playing on his side is just going to run all the way to the touchline and then lose the ball or pass it back. Carrera's, I think, is designed to underlap, and yes, it creates a bit of chaos. But for me personally, I'm not a tactical mastermind, but I've said this even in the last post match. I would like to see the plan being a bit more mixed up. Hopefully, it will. I think this is to combat a lot more mid to lower block sides in La Liga. But against the top sides, I would like him going on the overlap. I mean, Carrera's giving Vinny a little more wiggle room, especially inward. But yeah.
Sahil, quick time check. Are we on time or
time isn't an issue anymore.
Time isn't an issue anymore. Yeah, that's why.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I forgot to tell you, but yeah. Quick question, right? The defending. We touched upon it lightly, but Sahil, what can we really do to shake the demons that we have seen over the past 3-4 years? Why are we so passive when it comes to defending transitions, and why do we completely look lost? And I've seen this look on our defenders, and especially Thibaut's faces so many times. They just look to blame each other. Militao looking at Hausen looking at Thibaut looking at Militao. When can it be a lot more assertive, a lot more clean? It doesn't look like it's anywhere near clean.
I mean, it's just a thing about how soon can Hausen and Militao learn how to play together, right? Because Militao and Rudiger, when they first started playing together, it was chaos. It was two very similar kinds of defender.
Too aggressive front foot defenders.
Yeah. So Militao always went into challenges. Rudiger the same, and then there was space in behind, and teams would exploit that. There's a little bit of semblance of balance with Hausen and Militao, and I don't doubt that. But it's just Militao's positional indiscipline and some of the things that you mentioned with Hausen earlier, right? Even one-on-one, he's not perfect when he gets pulled out of position. In out wide when he has to defend someone that's gone past Carreras or someone that's gone past Trent. Militao has his flaws, but aerially he's impeccable. So you cannot, and so is Hausen, right? And the notion about defending has always been you have to defend as a team, you have to defend from the front, right? That is evolving, that is changing. So that's going to aid the defense more, invariably. But the fact that you have Trent Alexander-Arnold on one side and a relatively unproven, Alvaro Carreras on the other side, it's always going to have questions out wide. So again, going back to when it comes to the Yamals, when it comes to the Salahs of this world, that's where Real Madrid's defense will be truly tested. But now we walk away with just one goal conceded. It could have been much worse with the way we were allowing Mallorca to attack later in the game. positionally, there are issues. I feel like the high line could, be a little bit more coherent because of the fact that how risk intensive that high line is when it comes
Mm.
to teams who can be Mallorca, not a team who's going to run in behind 5-6 times every half, but
Yeah.
other teams might. So we just have to be wary of that, and we see that in moments. Um, but it's just going to be more and more difficult as the difficulty of opposition changes. So I'm waiting for Sociedad. I really am.
Yeah.
And I would like to remind people that, Hausen isn't necessarily the quickest as well, so it's going to be all on Militao, basically, as a centre back to, do the sweeping. And go on, Kanishk, you were about to say something.
No, I think I covered most of what I was thinking as well. I think it's just about a matter of time before Militao and Haizen learn how to play together, and till then, it is definitely going to look a bit more shaky because it's not like an attack, right, where you're more free. It's defense. It's more compact. There are X number of things that you can do. So I think Sociedad is going to be a tough challenge. They always are away from home. So I think I don't want to add anything more on, but yeah, definitely they need to learn how to play quickly much faster now, knowing that the bigger teams will know that there are going to be gaps in Madrid's defense which they can exploit, and if they are counter-attacking, if they're fast on the break, it's definitely going to pose a challenge with Trent also not being the best while tracking back. So yeah.
Ashik was mentioning there's no leadership in defense. No one's taking charge. That's a first issue. When Sergio was there, he would set shit right. But since that we haven't had a take charge leader, maybe Nacho a bit. Yeah, you could say that. But
Rudiger, when he's on the pitch, actually, he does try to take charge. But
yeah,
he's been off it recently. But I just hope
his own game. Yeah, that's what I was about to mention.
Big upset. He was mentioned. You guys want me to join from the Bernabeu? We are going to slowly wrap this up. It's been over an hour, Sid, but maybe next time. But yeah, I hope the fan camps went well. I'm pretty sure people will be happy with tonight's performance. But like we all said, countless times in this post-match, the real test lies in the Champions League. Away at the Metropolitano in a few weeks' time, and also in the Clásico. In a couple of months' time. It's gonna be pretty tricky how we will navigate all that, because Barcelona isn't slowing down. That's my single biggest worry. When I look over to Catalonia, they are still going strong. Building on from strength to strength, and not really looking like not really looking like a team that is licking their wounds off of what happened in the Champions League. They just look a lot more rejuvenated, and even missing such a key figure like Lewandowski isn't really putting them off their stride. So we'll have to really work for it this league campaign. Atleti is funny though. No wins yet in 3 games. I'm not sure what's going on over there. I happened to watch a couple of the games.
Worst start under Diego Simeone. 2 points in 3 games.
Yeah, that's a bit bad, but
that's also a club which needs a lot of changes now, I feel.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
It's been a while they've needed a change in approach. But yeah, not our circus, not our monkey. So it's good if they're not doing that.
Sid was mentioning rotational CBs didn't work. I agree. The defense is something. I think he's still testing waters. Like what Kanishk was pointing out earlier. This is the phase to test stuff out, because in a month things are going to look a lot more different, a lot more stable. I hope so. That's what the timeline or the pipeline should look like, right? Because if we really lack properly set back to, by the time October rolls around, there'll be questions asked. I just hope we find very quick answers. Like I said, Xabi Alonso, people might say, yeah, he needs a year, he deserves a year. He's someone who is basically learning on the job. I don't think it's going to be very, very, very hairy for him if results don't pan out the way we demand. But yeah, big up people in the chat. Big up people tuning in later as well. A couple of the guys actually mentioned a slight audio issue. I hope we managed to fix it tonight. They send a lot of love for Kanishk and Farouk's review from the other day. So yeah, we appreciate it a lot, and the boys really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So keep them coming in, and like I remind everyone, we do this on the side. We aren't really influencers or journalists or streamers. We really struggle sometimes to actually manage time zones and work life and whatnot. But all this really motivates us. Show some love to even the fan camps coming out of Madrid. Hopefully over the next 2-3 days. It's the international break, and we get a bit of time to actually take a breather and recollect and reflect on what has been pretty decent start to Xabi Alonso's reign. And boys, smash the likes on the way out, and also go check out our partners, of course, Talksport and Fanatics. The links are in the description below. Until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Okay.